Well, the camera cut off with me, so I had to start it again. But that little basil plant down there, it probably is going to end up with 4 or 5 basil plants in that one cup. Sweet banana peppers coming up. My giant kale is coming up. It's the only ones of those little ones down there that have done it. But I've had to keep watching that water every day because it's been getting so warm out here that the water has been evaporating. And see, since I had open pots, I planted okra in that big pot. I've got gold peppers in this one. I've got yellow squash. I think I put maybe 3 or 4 seeds down in there. And I've put green onion in this one. I put a couple of bush cucumbers seeds in this pot. So we're going to be out here today planting some more. And I think I need to move that to this other side because it's going to get too hot right there. Put it up here on this top tier because I don't want it to get too hot over there. Be all right there. But I'm so cramped up in here, it's really kind of hard to film anything because I've always got my everything else where my camera needs to be. Just bear with me a few minutes. But try to put my camera down here. But first of all, really what I got to do, I'm going to check over here. Well, I'm going to have to get this tote out of the way. Get this tote out of the way so I can check my rose bushes back there. And I can set it out here temporarily. And I'm simply in here, I'm going to check and see which ones of my rose bushes didn't make it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those rose cuttings out of the little cup and I'll replace it with some kind of seed to make use of my. And I had my hair down, but I'm going to have to put it up because that wind is blowing my hair everywhere and I cannot see what I'm doing if my hair is in my face. Ooh, that feels better on my neck already. Don't know what you can see. Get these lids out of the way temporarily. And I can possibly use my markers in these again too to mark the seed that I'm putting in there. I just really need me a table. my greenhouse is kind of like my house that I live in. Everything is so cramped up. I can use that, I guess, as a table. Just put them right down there. Don't know if you can see it. But I've got a few cups in here that, you know, the rose cuttings just didn't make it. So I can take these rose cuttings out and plant my seeds in there. And then put them right back down in the tote. So they'll have a water tray underneath them. And then I can always do more roses in the fall. Yeah, I had one of my subscribers tell me that I needed to make a video on cleaning my house. But my house is basically like my greenhouse. It's so crammed up that it would be hard to do a video because it's hard to get the camera back enough to where you can video anything. Keep running into the light. See, I got quite a few cups here that I'm going to be able to use for my seeds. I need to get that light up out of the way. Hitting me on the head. Now that's a little better. Almost need a piece of cardboard to block some of the sun on these rose cuttings, because sometimes if they get too much sun they just will not root. But yeah, there's 1, 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 cups right there that I can plant some seeds in. And make good use of those trays back there, my totes. Some of them have a little bit too many, like, wood chips, though, for the seeds. I'll just dump some of them off. Like I said, I really need to fix me a table back here in the back yard back here to use as a work table, but I don't have that, so I'm gonna bring my cup out here with my markers. Can't see from my well, you know what, maybe I can put this over here. It's not going to be as high, but it might work. As long as my camera don't fall or cut off like it did just a minute ago. But these are all of the cups of the rose cuttings that didn't make it. So like I said, I'm just going to simply plant seeds in it, because I've already got good dirt there. It's just deciding what I want to plant in it. I don't know if I want to try the strawberries in that or not. I think I want to put the strawberries in the smaller cups. Boy, that wind is blowing out here this morning. But I have southern emerald okra that I can plant. Go ahead and put some markers in there. Not sure how many. But I'm going to try to get away with putting one seed in each one of those, because okra seed is fairly big. Here, let me get something to poke a hole. And I've got tons of little ice cream sticks on the ground here that I had from where I planted something else. I'm not sure how many seeds I've got of these. But I'll plant all of these with okra if I have enough seed. Let's see how many seeds I got down in here. May not have quite enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I put one in there. No, I didn't. And this, I'm just barely covering them up. And just writing okra on there. If I can find more sticks down here on the ground, I'll just pick them up and reuse them. Put okra on them. I mean, they work okay. It's not like they've got to be on there forever. And it won't hurt these cups to be in the sun back there in that corner, at least until they come up. Once they come up, then I'm going to want to move them. So let's get these out of the way. So cramped you end up seeing my rear end most of the time. And my hair is falling. Probably going to have to go in the house and get a tie to keep my hair back. But all I'm doing is taking each cup and I'm just putting it right back in the tote that's in the greenhouse. Where I took them out before. I don't think that one had one in it. I don't think I put one in there. Let's see if I can find some more okra seed. Well, I know good well I had more okra seed in here. There it is. This is a different type of okra. It's a little bit of a longer okra than the Louisiana, but put one right down in there. may go ahead and fill these up with them too, because I like okra, so I plant a lot of it. And I've just put one okra seed in each cup, because hopefully each one will come up, and I'm going to leave it right in that pot until I transplant it into the ground. Cover them up a little bit. Yeah, you don't need tons of equipment to plant seeds. It might be a little difficult. And I think what I'm going to do, since that dumped over, I'm going to put just a tiny bit of garden soil in the top of it. Well, I don't know what I did with my trowel. I was using it yesterday and I thought I put it back over there, but I didn't. I laid it down somewhere and I don't remember where it was. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that garden soil on top of that. And I could get away with just marking one, but just as sure as I do, I will forget that I put each cup in that tote in okra, knowing me. And then I'll say, well, what is that, you know? I could have started my seeds a week or so earlier in the greenhouse if I'd have gotten my rose bushes out sooner to give me the room. It's got each one of those marked. Yeah, it's been getting so much warmer these days that the water has been evaporating real quick. So you have to watch that and make sure your totes have plenty of water down at the bottom. let's see. I am going to get me a table built out here, or get me a picnic table and put it back here. One that I don't mind getting it dirty and stuff. So now really what I need to do is fill up my cups. And it's just with potting soil. For the life of me, I don't know why my camera cut off a while ago. It just completely cut off while I was filming. Ugh. Some of these are big hard clumps. Can't believe that. And I'm just tapping them to settle them down a little bit. Now, let's see. What should I plant in this one? You know what? I think I'm going to give my strawberries a go. Like I said, I've never planted strawberries before. I mean, I tried a couple of plants last year in my green stalk, but you know how hot it got this summer. So, nothing survived. Good gracious, I can't get hold of a little package in there. I mean, look how tiny these little seeds are. It's going to be hard to even put them in the cups. There's 100 seeds in there. And I'm just getting them to stick on my finger. And then I end up with maybe 4 or 5 seeds that drop off my finger into the little cup. There's 100 seeds in this little bitty package. It's a lot of seeds. Go ahead and put those back in the bag. Because if all of those seeds come up, there's like 3 or 4 seeds in each little cup. And I'm just kind of stirring it around just a tiny bit, because you don't really have to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in here in the greenhouse. I'm going to put compost tea in the pan and let those little cups, soak up the compost tea. And then hopefully my little strawberries will germinate. But I do need to mark strawberries on one of my little sticks. Since that whole tray is strawberries, I'm not going to have to mark each individual one. I don't know what I want to put in this one. I need to fill the cups up, I guess. This stuff has got big clumps. Can't put big clumps of soil in your pots. And you know, I got to get my hands in it. I'm about out of garden soil. I have to go, woo! My cups are blowing away. Yeah, it's warmed up pretty warm out here, and that breeze feels good, but I don't want it to blow my stuff away. I thought I had more potting soil than this, but but it's enough to give you an idea how to do your seedlings. And I got to check this camera. Yeah, it's still going, thank goodness. Thought I felt a seed down in there, but I guess maybe. Well, it was 2 little seeds down in there. And the wind is just bound and determined. It's going to blow my seeds away and my cups and everything else. Find some more bell pepper seeds. Because I'm hoping my bell peppers do a lot better this year than last year. I mean my, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. But I gotta find my bell peppers down in here. Okay, I got banana peppers. And again, I'm trying to put 1 seed or 2 seeds in each cup. Because if you got good seed, 1 seed is all it takes. But you can separate if both of them come up. Yeah, next time I do anything like this, I am going to set it up on one of my tables. I can't handle standing on my head like this. And I got 2 bell peppers in there. One there and one over here. But it's just easy that like that to get your seed started. Stuff is going out the bottom of it. Well, that's got all them. And again, I'm going to put it on the shelf in the greenhouse. I will later put compost tea in the bottom of the pan, and those pots will absorb the water. And I can't see what I'm showing you in the film because the sun is blaring on that screen, and I can't see what it's showing you. Oh, I know one thing I wanted to plant was some of the winter squash, or the I'll have to squat down here, I guess. I need to get me a chair. Oh, Lordy. And I need to get some hot pepper started, but I don't know if I'm going to start it today. Red poppy. I saw that package of seed earlier. We've got radishes. Oh, here it is. It's a striped noodle squash. It's a shark fin is what it's called. You can't see the picture very good because they got it covered up with and I can't see. They got it covered up with stickers and stuff on here. But look at those big seeds. And I can't tell what I'm showing you. Great big seeds. There's got to be somewhere else I can put this camera. But I guess that'll have to do for now. I just don't know where else to put it. I've got another camera coming, a tripod coming that's taller. So I think that's gonna work better for doing videos. But I don't have it yet, so. Just have to bear with me. I have to work with what I got. But I wanted to get out here and show you some of the ways that I'm doing my seeds. And if you want to, you can wait and plant directly in your pots and your totes after the last danger of frost. That's just totally up to you. Usually that's the way I do mine. This year I thought I'd try starting some in little pots early. I don't know how many of these I want to do. And you only need one of these big seeds for each one of these little cups. And it needs to be about an inch down in the dirt. So I'm just sticking it down with my fingers. And these are cantaloupe seeds. There's some that like I planted last year. And they're a bright pink seed. And they only need to be about a 1/2 inch down. So just push them down with my finger and kind of cover them up a little bit. But I wanted to show you these seeds. They're unreal. They're a bright pink. I can't tell where my hand is. Take it here in the shade. Maybe I can see what I'm showing you. See the bright pink? But those they grew good for me last year. Get these back in the... But I have to admit, usually if you start seeds this way, you might be able to save a lot of seed, because planting them directly, sometimes all the seeds don't come up. But that'll happen too if you put them in a pot, so... My seeds are blowing across the yard now. And these are just simply cantaloupes. Usually, you know, the seeds are like tan. But I had really good luck last year growing these. So I definitely wanted to get more of them growing. And I don't plant all of my seed right up front. I plant part of them. That way, if I have to replant, I've got extra seeds. And I try to save my seeds, you know, from my cantaloupes and everything else from year to year. I mean, if you find something that grows good in your area, by all means, save seed from that plant for the next year. There, I got cantaloupe, and I got 3 shark fin squash started there. And I think if I can find my watermelon seed, sure I got my watermelon seed in here somewhere. Oh, I didn't start any zucchini, did I? Yeah, I'll have to agree with some of my viewers. I'm not very organized. We've got Kajari melon still to plant. Well, I guess I didn't bring my watermelon seed out here. But I do have my winter squash, the butternut squash. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is take my big cup and I'm going to try starting my winter squash in this big cup. I think I've just about got enough potting mix left to fill this cup. And I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. And I'm going to put maybe 2 seeds in there of my winter squash. No, this is cantaloupe. Where'd my winter squash go? I just had them. Here it is. My winter squash, if you can see that. Drop 2 seeds in there. Push them down a little bit. Because like I said, I'm basically experimenting with my seeds this year. But if I can save on seeds, then hey, I'm all for it. And I'm going to put just a little bit of dirt over the top. Not much, because you only want to cover it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And I'm simply going to write on the cup this time. I'm going to put winter squash. And what did I do with my lid? Tell me I lost my lid. Well, I have a lid to go on that, and that was the whole idea of using it, was to put the lid on it. For the life of me, I don't know what I did with the lid. The wind probably blew it somewhere. Or either I stuffed it in this bag, not realizing it. I know I came out here with that lid. Oh well, when I find the lid, I'm going to put the lid on it, and it'll turn up. Sooner or later, it will turn up. Here it is. But I'm simply going to spray it. Since I'm going to put the lid directly on this, I'm going to spray it with water just to wet the dirt down in there at the top. And then I'm going to put my little lid right on my cup. Now I know you get Cokes and stuff from McDonald's. This came from Wendy's, I think. Yeah, Wendy's, but it's a clear cup. And it makes its own individual greenhouse. Look at that. I made sure that the little straw where the hole was, I opened those little prongs a little so it doesn't get too hot down in there. Now if I can find them. And one of these little bottoms that you cut out of off of the 2-liter bottles is perfect to sit down in there to put your water, your compost tea in, and then it will soak the compost tea up from the bottom up and keep your plant moist until that seed germinates. When that seed starts coming up, you can take the top off of it, because if it gets too hot in there, it'll burn your plant up. And then I've got these little 4-compartment trays that I'm going to use to start seedlings. And I can put it in the bottom, you know, in this aluminum tray to hold water. I don't know if I'm going to have enough of this potting mix. Maybe to do one. Well, I've got to get me some more potting mix really to plant in it. I mean, there's some there. I can move some of it over in the other one. I know, I've got another potting mix bag in the shed. Let me go get that. There, that'll do it. But I'll end up with two 8, 4 packs. So that'll give me 8 plants. dump them back out. Bok choy. Let's see what this other one is. Black Beauty eggplant. I already got my fingers dirty, so I just as well go ahead and finish sticking it. And I'm putting, I think, 2 seeds in each little cup, little hole. One reason I'm doing it this way this year is I'm going to see if my seeds will come up quicker this way. Especially my peppers. It took a long time for my peppers to come up. Well, I want to plant watermelon, but it doesn't look like I have the watermelon seed out here. Banana pepper, winter squash, tomatoes. Yeah, I got a lot more tomatoes I need to plant too. Zucchini. I'm going to plant the other one in zucchini, I think. Because I got more pots, I just don't have the potting mix. But you only need one zucchini seed in a pot. And I'm going to go ahead and stick these in here. You have to bear with me a minute because I don't want the wind to blow these away. I spread my seeds all over the yard. People are kind of lucky when they've got these great big greenhouses and they can do all this in a greenhouse at a table and not have to stand on their head. Now I don't remember what I put in that one. I think it was a pepper, wasn't it? Well, I'm going to stick that there. I'll have to watch my video and I guess to find out what I put in that. Because I forgot already what seed I put in there. Oops. You have to watch because they're a little flimsy, these pans are. I've got more that I'm going to plant. But I'm going to have to go through my seeds and find my watermelon and my other stuff. Because what I'm going to do, this pot right here that I had a rose bush rooting in, and this one, I'm going to put seeds in those 2 pots and stick them in the greenhouse until they come up. But let me get over here and got to get my dipper. Yeah, I might get some of this from one of the other ones. Well, that'll be all right. Gotta fill that up. It's almost empty. But I'm simply gonna get some compost tea out of here. Put it in my bucket so I can go water those, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. And like I said, this is not all the seeds I'm going to plant, but I showed you enough in the video for you to see what I'm doing. So you can come up with ways in different little pots of your own and little miniature greenhouses, you know, containers that you can use. Well, I need to put water in there. And like I said, some of my seeds I'm gonna plant directly in my pots when it's warm enough. Ooh, that's heavy. But see, like that little thing there, it's not going to sit on my shelf without something flat under it. So I just put it in that because it's flat. It has holes in the bottom, but this little tray right there is going to hold the water. And there's actually 2 there. Oh, let me get one of them up. Because all I needed is just to... Yeah, they both had holes. Let me turn it this way. And I'm simply going to set it right there. Now, what we're going to do is leave them in the sun after we water them until they sprout. Once they start sprouting, move them over under partially shade, because you don't want them in that hot sun after they start sprouting, because it will burn them up. Especially this in the cup. Once I see that that is sprouted in there, I'm going to take that lid off of it, and I'll not be putting it back on at all once it's sprouted. See, because those little Tiny Tim tomato plants that I did, I don't have them covered up anymore because it would get too hot on them. Because I know that's what happened to my lettuce. And see, I've got some little sprouts coming back up already from where I reseeded. So that's one big thing. Do not let your plants get too hot. And they will germinate over in the shade. But it just so happens that part of my shelving that's available is sitting here in the sun. And it will not hurt to leave those cups right there until those plants start coming up. Once they start coming up, get them out of the sun. Or if you want to, you can even put them on a shady spot. And I may do that. I may go ahead and move some of this other stuff, because like I'm using part of my shelving for storage. What I might do is I might move my plants up on top. And see, I was going to use this one here, but I ran out of soil, so. Yeah, I may just do that. I may move some of this down and move my pots up top. But like I said, it's not going to hurt them to have them in the sun until they come up. Once they come up, you definitely want to move them in the shade. Or move them so that they're not directly being hit by that sunshine anymore, because it will burn them. Let's see if I can put this down anywhere at all. And I can't tell what I'm showing. Stick this up in here. Well, I hope that camera doesn't fall. Let's see, what if I didn't want to leave them in the sun, I could put them right up here. Put them right up here on the top shelf, so they're not in that direct sunshine. Because I think that's what happened to some of my rose cuttings. They got too much sun in that corner. They got too hot, and they couldn't handle all that hot sun. And I got extra pieces of cardboard and stuff like that up here that I use to sit stuff on. This is just a pot that I was going to plant something in. And you can do something like this. See what I'm doing. If you have them in the sun, you can put something up as a barrier between them and the sun like that, and that will help tremendously. Keep them from getting too hot. But right now, I think I'm going to even put this one up here. Because they don't really need the sun to germinate, but once they do come up and start to grow, then you're going to need to get them in the sunshine a little bit. And I've still got these cup holder things that I haven't used that I can plant stuff in. But I got to fix me some more soil or get me another bag of potting soil to do that. And like this is another pot that's empty, but it's got dirt. So I can plant something in that. Right now I'm going to put water in my cups, my pans. And I'm putting quite a bit in there because those little cups will soak up that moisture. Because you know that potting soil is dry that we put in there. So put quite a bit in there so it'll soak it up. Oh man. And I probably don't even need the top on this cup, because as hot as it's getting now, you probably don't even need to cover them. But that's a great way to start a little greenhouse in the colder weather, is just use your little clear plastic cups. Well, can't get it off of there now. But it makes a little greenhouse of its own. Like I said, I don't think I need it in there right now. Because I've seen people start their seeds in places like, well, like the Fit Farmer. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his videos, but I've subscribed to his channel. He's had an old refrigerator. And he actually puts his seed cups in that refrigerator to get them started. And I'm going to do this one over here, if my camera don't fall. And these 4 packs that I've got right up here, I'm going to go ahead and put water in that. And I put quite a bit, because like I said, all of that dirt in these cups is dry. So I'm putting quite a bit of water in there to begin with. So, and I've done that in all of them. And I'll come out here and check later at the water level and see if I need to add any. But I'm also going to spray the top of them to get the top of the dirt moist. But I mean, eventually that water will, soak up into the cup, and the top will be wet too. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this because I can. And I may use that pot right there to start my watermelon seed in. I'm not sure. But you can see I've got a lot more little pots. I've got a little clay pot right there that's empty. So we'll see. But that gives you an idea on how I'm starting my seeds. And that's basically what I wanted to show you today. Got too much stuff in here. Let me put this camera back down. Maybe I can put it over here. And I'm just moving some of these lids that I had stacked up back here to get them out of the way while I did that. But hopefully by the time I can move those out of the sun, or they come up, germinate. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. But hopefully by the time these come up and they get large enough that I can move them and get them in part of the sun, I'll be able to put them outside for a little bit. I won't have to just solely leave them in here. But I've been constantly having to add water to my totes. Because that water's been, or compost tea, has been evaporating pretty quick. Go ahead and add it to some of my other pots while I'm in here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here, because that sun's getting a little hot out there. And I don't want my seedlings to get too hot out there. So with this door open and it gets enough air in here that it doesn't build up a steam in here, I think my seedlings will be okay until I can get them outside. Or put them outside, you know, in the sun. Not directly in the hot sun, but put them outside a little bit. Because like I said, we've got some more cold weather coming. Or a few cold nights. And I don't want to run the risk of losing plants. So I'm definitely going to leave them in here. There, it's sitting a little bit more level than it was. It keeps the humidity in here at nighttime, but you know, when I have the door closed, but during the day it's so hot now. It's getting so hot that, and I'm going to go ahead and wet that dirt in that pot so that dirt will soften up. Definitely got good drainage. Definitely got good drainage. But I'll be able to start some kind of seeds in there. Well, I just wanted to show you, give you a few more tips on starting seedlings, because you don't have to have a big tote right now. It's getting warm enough weather that you can start them in other things, you know, like aluminum trays with paper cups. And the main part about these is to keep them safe. You don't want them out in the direct wind. You don't want them out in the rain. So that's why I suggest, if you don't have a greenhouse or a covered area porch where you can put your trays of seedlings, if you can afford it, just get you a couple of totes and start your seeds in your totes. That's the next best thing to having a big greenhouse. I just happened to have gotten this a few years ago. I bought it on sale for like $60, I think. Lucked out with it. But I'm still learning how to work with it to get seedlings to start, because usually I burn them up in here. And I have to pay more attention to them and make sure that don't happen this year. But yeah, they don't really need the sun to germinate. Because like I said, the Fit Farmer, he had a old refrigerator that doesn't even work. And he uses it to germinate his seed. He puts seed trays in that refrigerator, closes the door. They're in the complete dark. And as soon as he sees that they've germinated and they started sprouting out, he takes them out of there and puts them in the rest of his greenhouse, or in a area where they're not in the direct sun. So they'll start growing a little bit more. And then when they're big enough, he can take them out and plant them in his garden. So there's a lot of different ways. And let me get these lids up. I didn't mean to leave them right there. Yeah, I had made a net lid, like I was doing what I cut out of the center is what I was making the marker stakes with. And I covered it with tulle, stapled it in around the edges. And I've made a little net cover that if I had seedlings out in the yard that are in a tote, I can put that lid on that tote, and that keeps the bugs and the birds from getting into it to get my seeds out. Or it keeps the bugs from getting in there and eating my plants. So I haven't used it yet because I don't have a tote that I've got fixed with seedlings outside yet. So, but anyway, if any of this makes sense to you, I hope you can use some of the little tips that I've given you today with starting your seedlings. And I feel like I've been at this long enough, so I'm going to wash this lid off. Put it in the greenhouse. And I think I'm going to close my video. See, I'm even jam-packed in my greenhouse. I mean, it's unreal. And like I said, if you don't have a greenhouse, you don't want to start seedlings in a cup or anything like this, you can wait till after the 12th of this month and put them directly in the ground, or directly in your totes or your buckets or wherever you're going to plant them, and that'll be fine. In fact, like I said, that's the way I normally do mine. This year I just thought I'd try something a little different and see how it works. And with that, I think I'm going to clean up my mess. Try to get these fixed so the wind's not going to blow them over. And I'm going to close out my video. Guys, please share my videos. Please like my videos. Because without your support, I can't keep my channel going. And like I said, I've got to have at least 1,000 subscribers. And I'm picking up dead rose cuttings, if you wonder what I'm doing here. I've got my handful of them. Now I'm just going to throw them over here. See there, that's coming up, and I think that was a kale or a spinach or something. The marker has kind of faded out to where you can't even read what I had written on it. But I know those were a couple of radishes here. But we'll replant all that. And look at there, I got a potato coming up in there. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dig it out and I'm going to go put it over there. Because that's what I did with the other ones. I added soil yesterday to there. I went over where I've been getting the broken down tree bark and soil and all that. And I put more in it because it had composted down to practically nothing. But I pulled up the tomato plants that were in these other totes that were coming up, and I put them in here. So that's going to be my potato tote right there. And what I need to do is, I don't know what I did with it, my trowel. I don't know what I did with my little digging trowel. But I was going to dig up that I was going to show you what I did, but I don't know where it is. What did I do with the bucket? Oh, here it is. I knew I had it out here doing stuff. And I went ahead and took the mum out of that, and I put in peppermint. You know, there's a sprig of peppermint coming up out of there. Yeah, I'm always putting stuff down, and then later I forget where I put it. But I have not put any compost in there since last year. And potato peelings since last year are coming up in there now. Let's see if I can show you here what I'm doing here. But they put down quite deep roots. Well, that's my pea there. Don't want to dig that one up. And that's my peas. But I'm simply going to take and I can't really tell because, but see there? That's a potato peel. I can't tell what I'm showing you, but that's a potato peel that sprouted up a potato plant. And I'm just going to dig a hole and stick it right in this tote. And I think that's going to be about enough in here. But those are potato plants that came up from potato peelings. But that'll be enough potato plants in here to start out some good potatoes for this year. Just going to water it down since I just transplanted them. But see, I've got and I tell you that sun, but see there, I've got a whole tote full of potato plants coming up. And I'll add more dirt to them as they come up and get taller. And you know what? This sprig here, it needs to go deeper. So I'm going to dig down in there and put this little guy deeper because he's leaning over. He's not deep enough. That's one thing about your little seedlings. They're not deep enough really in their little cups to leave them there. So that's why it's good to transplant them. So I got him a little deeper. So he'll be all right. Let me go ahead and put a little bit of water to him since I moved him. Let him work in there good. And I put more broken down wood bark and broken down dirt from other matter from under those trees where I've been getting my soil for my pots. I was working yesterday trying to refill some of my pots that are kind of compacted down. You know, once the compost breaks down, then your dirt level drops. Like that pot right there, it's only about half full. And it was full at one time, but it's broken down so much that the dirt level is down now. Let me get this bag in the shed. Because it's Sunday. This is all I'm going to do today. Find something to do in the house the rest of the day. Yeah, I forgot I had the black cow compost, so I put mostly that in that last 4-pack that I planted seed in. They ought to do extremely well in that. Find my seeds. Oh, man. And we're going to get more rain, so things are going to grow even better. I'm going to have to come out here and harvest some of my Brussels sprouts and my kale out there and cook it with my meal, I think. Go out there and check on my rose bushes. See, they're still looking good. They're happy. They're happy being planted there. I just hope the yellow rose right there, that's what this one is. That's a yellow rose of Texas. I'm hoping that one does good there. I think the rest of them are the knockout roses. They're pink, a light pink or a deep pink. And look at there, overnight. Look how tall that thing got. Overnight, guys. Because it wasn't that tall yesterday. Get this other onion out of the way. I mean, look at that. So, next time you use an onion, whether it's green, yellow, white onion, save the bottom of it. Root it. Plant it in the dirt. Make your own onion sets. So you can see, it's not going to be long before I'll be able to break these apart and plant them individually. And I'm going to have at least three onions from that one red onion. So you can't beat that for free onions. And I've got look like a zinnia coming up right there. And that came up from last year's seeds. And there's marigolds coming up. And I didn't plant any in there. It was just seeds that dropped. So that'll be good. Or it's either tomato seed that dropped in there and it's coming up. My clematis is coming up out of the ground. Right there, you can see that green sprig. And the rest of it is coming to life on the vine. Look at that. And that vine looked dead. Over here as well. So I already know these will flower on the old vines, so I know not to ever cut my vines down. And this is actually one of those really bright pink ones. I don't think it's really even supposed to make it through the winter time, but that one has. So I'm anxious to see how much it will grow this year. And that's peppermint. I don't want peppermint coming up on its own in my pots. But I'll tell you what, those things put down roots. That's the reason I said if you want peppermint, plant it in its own individual pot. Don't even set it on top of a pot. Because I had one pot sitting on top here last year. And the roots went down through the holes of the pot and went down into this big tote or big pot and started putting down roots in that. I mean, it's easy enough to pull out, but look at there. That's all peppermint that I can put in another pot somewhere. But I'm definitely not going to put it in a pot where it's going to take over anything. Maybe just stick it in that. So we'll do that, and then I'll close out my video. I'll go ahead and repot this little bit of peppermint. I'll be giving peppermint away, I guess, this year. I'll have plenty of peppermint for peppermint tea, that's for sure. There, so just that simple. I got a peppermint plant started back in there. But yeah, if you see that coming up in your totes, if you put a pot of peppermint sitting inside your totes, check it, because don't let it get too bad, because you'll never get all the roots out. And that honestly looks like a pepper plant or something right there coming up. I don't know what that is. It's not a oak tree, that's for sure. We'll leave it there. Let's see that peppermint. I thought that had died, but look at it coming back. And that one too. So, I'm sorry about the inexperience with my videos. But, you know, it's kind of hard to film in that little greenhouse when it's so cramped up and there's nowhere to put the camera. And you have to just prop it up any way you can. So, don't you like my shirt? I got those shirts done years ago. It says, I know I'm somebody because God don't make mistakes. No, it's because God doesn't make junk. God makes no junk. I made up those shirts and sold them years and years ago. And I had a couple of them left, so that's why I ended up wearing them. I thought the little boy sitting on or there with his head down with his hands fingered together was so cute. Check my clematis over here. Yep, see that? I thought it was a goner. I thought that was a goner, but look at there. It started coming out like that, and then we had a freeze, and it died back down. We definitely got oak trees coming up in the bottom of this. So y'all have to watch for that if you do like I do and get your potting mix mostly from broken down wood bark and leaves and all that good stuff. You're going to have stray seeds coming up in your pots. So you know if you didn't plant anything there and it's not seeds coming up from your something you planted, you know it don't belong there. Just pull it out before it gets too big. Pull it out before it gets too big of roots. Because sometimes if you leave it in there and the root, see those are oak trees coming up. Don't want oak trees in my pot. But it's because those little seeds were in all the dirt that I got. And I got to put some ant poison to this. I already see that. It's full of ants. And that will hinder my clematis from growing. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video. I'm going to go ahead and see all that clematis growing, coming out. It's beautiful. Right there. And see, it's already going over the trellis, the archway. And you can see the green up there at the top where it's coming out up there as well. So that's going to be really pretty this summer when all of the new growth gets up there and it meets the center with the other one and it starts putting off flowers. That's going to be really pretty. And I keep saying I'm going to end my video. I'm definitely going to get off of this video right now. And what I'm going to do is go out here in my shed. I'm going to get my ant granules. I'm going to put a few ant granules in that pot. Just a handful of them. Sprinkle them around and maybe a little bit around the bottom of the pot. So those ants will go somewhere else. Because if you leave them in your pots like that, they'll eat the roots of your plant and kill your plant. And usually I don't get them in a pot like that. Not where I've got flowers. Because, I mean, the compost that was in there, the food scraps or whatever I put in the bottom of it, is long gone. It's been broken down for so long, I wouldn't think there's anything left in there for them to eat. So they may have just got in there putting in tunnels for tunnels to live in. I don't know, but like I said, I'm going to end my video and I'm going to go out there and get my ant granules, sprinkle a can full of ant granules out there and get rid of those ants. See, there's a oak tree coming up there. And see, if you don't catch them, look at the root on that thing. If you don't catch them early, they're hard to get pulled out of there. So that's something you'll have to watch out if you're doing your composting in place and building your own soil like I do. Because most of my soil comes from under my oak trees. And I do have little oak trees coming up. So I try to make sure I pull all those out when I plant stuff in my pot. Because if you don't, you will grow oak trees. I mean, unless you want to grow oak tree in your pot, then I suggest you pull them out. Okay, guys, with that, I'm going to wish you a blessed Sunday. Have a beautiful day. Please, again, like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Without subscriptions, my channel will go away. I got to have subscriptions. I mean, I'm getting more and more every day, and I appreciate every one of my subscribers. But I need a lot more. I need several hundred more subscribers to get my channel going. And like I said, it's free, not going to cost you anything. So please like, share, subscribe to my videos. Y'all have a blessed day. I will see you on my next video. Bye now.